What's up, you fucking legends? You guys ready to walk? Are you guys feeling fit? Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to keep it civil until it becomes uncivil.
Yes, civil unrest. The police.
Yeah. Watch out.
Police horseman.
Oh my God.
That was a world record attempt, and I respect that. I didn't realize we'd get here in 8 minutes, guys. But anyway.
Every time I close my eyes, I wake up feeling so horny.
It's fucking cool as, man. This is so cool. Gather around the police car up here, guys. I want to say a few words. Okay, just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody who turned up for this peaceful walk. Shout out to the young Daniel who attempted to set a world record. I have nothing but the highest respect for him. I am about to walk into the courtroom and take on the AFP in a high-profile court case. I hope to walk out of here victorious. But guys, if you do not see me leave the courthouse, I don't want to say anything.
We'll be coming in.
I don't want to say anything. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys out here soon, hopefully.
Thank you everyone for joining us this evening to hear item 31, Coit versus the Federal Police. We will now commence with the first witness for the applicant. We would like to call forth Mr. Gavin Paul. Can you state your name, please?
My name is Gavin Paul.
So can you give me a rundown of how you viewed the events that occurred?
The car was wedged, you see, and I tried to just get out of it, and I walked around a bit, just found a bush.
Did you see the AFP officer exit the vehicle partway down the slope instead of trying to stop the vehicle?
Certainly did. He was driving it in. Rusty was in the boot.
Oh fuck, I'm done.
It looked like they were in the process of trying to transport him to a medical facility.
Well, it's a strange way to transport someone in a boot.
Did you hear any sirens or see the ambulance approaching the site?
Yes, I did.
So do you think the AFP officers that were on that site could have been aware there was an EMS on the way?
Yes.
Did you see them at all put Rusty into the trunk?
I did.
That will be all.
Mr. Bottomtooth, your witness. Mr. Pork, as supplied within your statement, can you please define for the court the term that you used, and I quote, pulling myself off in the bushes?
It's the act of masturbating oneself.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. According to your statement, you were engaging in an act of self-pleasure while witnessing a violent crime.
That's correct.
How did this actively not impede your ability to accurately observe and recall the events?
Well, when I masturbate, it gives me quite a clear mind.
Right. You claim to have witnessed the federal police placing Mr. Coit in the boot of the said vehicle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Finally, your description of events places a significant emphasis on the actions of the officers while minimizing your role. How do you justify your actions?
Well, they're alleged crimes. Got any proof I did them?
No more questions.
Suck on that, dickhead.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Pork. You may step down. Can you state your name, please?
My name is Ted Kraken.
Can you give me a rundown of the events that occurred on the day?
I got handcuffed by AFP officers, and Rusty got pretty heavily beaten by said AFP officers.
So in your statement, you said that they left you in a bush.
They left me in a bush, yes.
That is all I have questions for Mr. Kraken. Mr. Bottomtooth, your witness.
Good evening, Mr. Kraken. Before we begin, may I play something on the monitors here, please? Mr. Kraken, is it correct that you have a criminal history, which includes violent crime?
I wouldn't say they're violent, I just say they're crimes.
You wouldn't say kidnapping is a violent crime?
No, it wasn't what you think.
What I thought. Okay, anyway, Officer Romano's and Officer Kentro's statements both indicate that you were part of a violent altercation. Why is there no mention of this?
What altercation? I don't know about any altercation.
Finally, any reason why the federal police would leave you unattended if they truly believed you were involved in a serious crime?
Because they're so fixated on Rusty. They always treat Rusty like a piece of shit.
It's true, they do. They fucking hate me.
Thank you, Mr. Kraken.
Yeah,
no more questions, Your Honor.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Kraken. You may step down. Can the next witness please be brought in?
My first witness is Mr. Matt Romano. Mr. Romano, can you please clarify the circumstances under which you initially encountered the suspects?
I was responding to a police pursuit call on the other side of the dam. I then drove over the dam taking a shortcut and suddenly came across Mr. Coit, Ted Kraken, and Gavin Paul.
In your statement, you mentioned that you attempted to contact Odin 6 regarding the situation. Can you elaborate on the communication you had with Odin 6?
Yes, I made contact with Odin 6, wondering if he was at the dam with his ride-along. He responded saying no, then told him that our mattress was at the dam. Steve then responded to my call saying he was en route.
Mr. Bottomtooth, that's the court. Who is Odin 6?
It's Mr. Steve Urban.
Thank you. Continue.
Mr. Romano.
That's okay, that's fine.
Regarding the pursuit of Rusty Coit, could you confirm if the vehicle captured on the traffic cameras above matches your recollection of Mr. Coit's attempt to flee the scene?
Yes, we caught up with Mr. Coit on LSF, attempted to pull over the vehicle. Mr. Coit failed to pull over, so we initiated a pursuit. Mr. Coit crashed his vehicle into a tree and broke down.
A twee?
Dismounted from the vehicle, and two of them ran down the hill while Mr. Coit pulled a screwdriver out and attempted to stab us.
And following Mr. Coyte's apprehension, you mentioned waiting for paramedics to arrive. Can you explain why you decided to transport Mr. Coyte yourselves?
We believed it was in Mr. Coyte's best interest if we transported him ourselves.
And regarding the incident where Mr. Coyte's vehicle started rolling downhill towards the water, can you explain the actions you took to prevent any further danger?
I jumped into the vehicle to attempt to stop the vehicle. Once I was in the vehicle, I attempted to slam on the brakes and stop it.
Despite your heroic efforts, the vehicle ultimately entered the water. And how did you ensure the safety of everyone involved in the situation?
I got myself out of the vehicle. I then got Mr. Coyte out.
Thank you, Mr. Romano.
Mr. Trask, it's your witness.
So obviously you've provided him first aid, is that correct?
Correct.
In your professional opinion as an officer, you would say that you wouldn't have as much medical experience as a person of the emergency services, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, you said that you jumped into the vehicle to attempt to stop it from rolling into the water. Where was the vehicle parked before you placed him into the vehicle?
The vehicle was parked on the side of the mountain. The front of the vehicle was facing down the mountain.
Your Honour, we do have a bit of evidence that could assist.
Your Honour, if he's talking about that sketch from the sketch artist, that's lack of foundation. Your Honour, we can't cross-examine that sketch artist here in court.
Is that what you're referring to, Mr. Bottom 2?
Indeed.
If Mr. Vic doesn't wish to utilise that, he's not required to.
You say that the vehicle was parked on the hill, is that correct?
On the side of the hill, yes.
I believe it was Mr. Kraken stated that he actually heard the sirens and the lights of the EMS in the distance after around 10 minutes. Did you hear any lights or sirens, Mr. Romano?
I can't hear lights.
Did you see any lights or hear any sirens?
No.
You said you didn't want to wait for the EMS, and you've also stated that you don't have the same expertise. Why is it that you did not wait for EMS?
Because, like was said earlier, that we waited any longer, more injuries could have occurred, brain injury, anything like that.
Was the vehicle in a safe location before it was parked downwards on the mountain?
I believe it was, yes.
You believe it was. So why was it moved to that position where it was facing downwards?
The vehicle wasn't moved.
You're saying the vehicle wasn't moved?
You just said that you pushed
You
it.
just stated it was in a safe position beforehand, so would you say a mountain facing downwards is a safe
But he
position?
said, Chad, he said he pushed me in the lake, in the fucking Stanya.
So you believe that a vehicle facing downwards into a mountain is a safe position?
But-
Is that what I'm hearing?
EMS got me out of the lake, at the river. Are you fucking kidding
No
me?
further questions, Your Honour.
Any additional questions from you, Mr. Bottom 2?
Can I-
Alright, thank you. Can Mr. Litters Cantrell, I believe he was next. Can he be
Correct.
brought in, please? Mr. Bottom 2, please proceed.
Could you detail the process of subduing Mr. Coyte and ensuring his safety?
So we had Mr. Coyte on the the shoreline, and we waited for EMS attention. Nothing had arrived, and from what we could see on our government map, there was no EMS vehicle nearby. So we decided it would be best to transport.
That's a lie, bro. It's a lie.
A Sandy Hospital.
I've just forwarded a photo. There's a AFP sketch artist rendition of the incident. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Can the court see this image? All good.
Sorry, just before who was this prepared by?
Looks like a load of shit.
What's their name?
It was provided to me by a federal police sketch artist. Unfortunately, I do not know the name.
It's like it's done on Art Attack, that thing.
Were we relying on this evidence? Because I have a feeling it's about to be thrown out.
Who drew that?
Look at that fucking hokey photo. Fucking drenched.
Who fucking drew that?
If they found out it was you who drew it, we're so fucked. Matt, did you say it took 3 hours?
Alright, let's continue. Mr. Bottom 2, please.
Okay, Mr. Canberra, looking at the image applied above, can you just give your recollection of events?
Yeah, so I'll try and describe it. Yeah, so the police car, as you see at the top of the image, the police car is located behind Mr. Coyte's vehicle. Mr. Coyte's vehicle is then just in front of the police car, and we had Mr. Coyte down by on that sandy road. The river is where the vehicle ended up. Sorry, yeah, does that track? That does track.
I can hear it, Chuck. I can hear it.
Mr. Coyte back up to his vehicle as seen
Thank you
by
for the
the
bits, boys.
yellow circle and arrow. That's Mr. Romano standing there with Mr. Coyte, and that's where the vehicle was when we pulled Mr. Coyte into it.
Indeed. And what does the yellow line from Mr. Romano going into the vehicle mean?
That's just Mr. Romano putting him in the vehicle.
Regarding the decision to
You can't
manually
even,
transport Mr.
like,
Coyte
see him.
to his urgent medical condition, what factors influenced this decision?
Most of it was the duration, as well as the fact that Mr. Coyte had been involved in an unfortunate incident where the vehicle did end up in the water during an attempt to transport him to the medical facility.
I've heard it all
Describe the
before.
events that unfolded when Mr. Coyte's vehicle started rolling downhill towards the water.
We placed Mr. Coyte in his vehicle due to the fact that our vehicle
My
was
vehicle?
full. We had 4 officers. Mr.
Bro.
Romano was going to drive that vehicle, so we placed Mr. Coyte in the
the back seat. Mr. Romano then got into the vehicle and it began to roll down the hill. At that point, Mr. Romano did try to stop, however, he couldn't, so the vehicle did end up in the river.
Alright, thank you, sir. No more questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Vehicle, Mr. Trask, you're welcome now to cross-examine the witness and also comment on this particular piece of evidence.
Thank you, Your Honour. So for the first part, I would like to say that the evidence has been unverified, so therefore should be inadmissible. If it is an admissible bit of evidence and it is an accurate representation of what the location was like, how could the vehicle have rolled down the hill with all that terrain in the way? Rocks, trees and everything else. If it is an accurate representation, there will be no way the vehicle could have rolled down the hill and into the water.
Exactly.
And been manoeuvred between all the obstacles to get there.
Is there anything else you wanted to say to that?
That's all for the statement for the image.
Okay, so your comments about the image. Please continue.
I'll pass on to my co-counsel.
You stated that Mr. Romano got into the vehicle before it started rolling, is that correct?
Yes.
But that directly goes against your statement that it only started rolling after Mr. Coit was placed in it.
Well, Mr. Coit was placed in the vehicle before Mr. Romano, because Mr. Romano put him in the vehicle.
Yes, correct. So in your affidavit you stated, unfortunately the vehicle we arrived in was at capacity and couldn't transport us and Mr. Coit. So we decided to use his vehicle. We put him in the vehicle and the vehicle started rolling down the hill towards the water. Romano jumped into the vehicle.
They left me there, apparently.
I put you in a clear light here because
So I'm there. They've placed me in it.
It started rolling after Mr. Romano got in. So what is it, Mr. Cantrell?
The vehicle started rolling after Mr. Romano got in it.
See that?
No further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you, Mr. Cantrell. You may step down. And Mr. Bottomtooth, who's your next witness?
It'll be Mr. Steve Urban.
Mr. Urban, are you a religious man?
I am, sir. I pray to our one true God, His Excellency, the Honourable Sir Blake Sanderson.
What a suck ass.
Swear by your God that the evidence you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bottomtooth, your witness.
Mr. Urban, could you please describe the nature of the radio call you received on the date in question?
I'd just gone to do a poo and come back to a radio call saying that Matt had been kidnapped by Rusty and I was being requested to go to the dam.
And when you were informed about the kidnapping, what immediate actions did you take to ensure a rapid and coordinated response?
I let federal police know that I was heading to make contact, as was my partner being held up at the dam.
You identified the individuals Rusty Coit, Ted Kraken, and Kevin Pork. Can you describe how you were able to recognize these individuals despite their presumably chaotic situation?
Look, I've had to deal with Rusty and Ted a lot over the years. They're serial pests in the city.
Reflecting on this harrowing experience, how do you believe your training and instincts as a professional contributed to your actions and decision-making during this incident?
We're obviously trained heavily in the federal police to deal with such situations, especially with going into such a hostile environment alone. But it all escalated extremely quickly once I entered underneath the top of the dam.
Despite the grave danger you faced, do you believe your actions had a positive impact on the situation?
Cranky. I'm just happy to be alive.
Oh, well done.
Thank you, Mr. Trask. Mr. Vic.
Mr. Urban, how are you?
I've been better.
Could you please state how many years experience you have in the federal police, please?
5-ish.
5-ish years. And so within your 5 years of experience, you would say that you're pretty calm under pressure, is that correct?
Yes.
So you previously stated that you saw your officer get shot, is that correct? However, your affidavit said he was brutally murdered. Obviously, in the case of federal police, you would think that an affidavit would be pretty detailed, including the fact that he got shot. That would be a pretty relevant piece of information, would you not agree? Is there a reason you left out that key piece of information on how he was murdered?
This is serious?
Sorry, can you
Please
repeat
answer
that?
the question, Mr. Urban.
It's the same thing.
I highly disagree, Your Honour.
Mr. Vic, I understand, and you may move on.
No further questions, Your Honour.
Thank you. Mr. Bottomtooth, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Urban, you may step down. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now proceed. Closing statements. Does either party require time?
Yeah, we would love 5 minutes, Your Honour.
Excuse me, Your Honour. Your Honour. Incredibly urgent news has come to light. I sincerely apologise for the entrance. I've got credible intelligence as Mr. Coy here with evidence has a plan to blow up this building, sir.